Stop begging for crumbs. Why Black women entrepreneurs don't need more training, they need your money. Good evening, everyone. I want to start tonight by introducing you to someone who is changing the way we think about entrepreneurship, capital, and who gets to scale. Her name is Keena Harrien, and she is a force. Keena is not just building businesses, she is dismantling the broken systems that tell Black women entrepreneurs they need more training, more workshops, more empowerment seminars, when what they actually need is respect, access, and capital. Keena's work is about truth telling. And tonight, I'm here to share the insights she gave me, insights that should make us all stop, rethink, and act differently. Because Keena is not here to rescue anyone. She's here to demand that institutions finally show up and do what they should have been doing all along. She's making the world better by refusing to let lies masquerade as help. And that is revolutionary. So let me tell you what Keena helped me see. Africa leads the world in female entrepreneurship rates. Women on the continent are not just participating in business, they are driving it. They are the majority of entrepreneurs in many African nations. They are creating, they are innovating, they are building empires from the ground up. And yet, women founded startups globally capture just 2 to 3% of venture capital. 2 to 3%. Not because these women lack ideas, not because they lack hustle, not because they need another capacity building workshop, but because institutions have failed them. The system is not set up to give them capital, access, or respect. Let that sink in for a moment. The narrative we've been sold, the one that's been shoved down our throats for decades, is that Black women entrepreneurs need more training, more mentorship, more empowerment programs, more hand holding, more proof that they're worthy. But Keena's insights, backed by research and real stories, tell us something radically different. The real barrier is not readiness, it's systemic bias. It's a world that stalls businesses at the revenue stage right before they can scale because the doors to capital and networks remain locked, bolted, guarded. And for those of us in this room who have spent years in survival mode, who have led teams, raised families, held down households, carried communities on our backs, this truth hits differently because we know what it's like to be told we need to do more, be more, prove more, when the real issue is that the system was never designed to let us through. So tonight, I want to talk about three things Keena shared with me. Three insights that can change the way we think about entrepreneurship, scaling, and what it really takes to move from grinding to grounding, from survival to thriving. The first insight is this: Black women led businesses often generate revenue, but they get stuck in what Keena calls the sticky middle. They're not failing, they're making money. They have customers, they have traction, they have proof of concept, but they can't scale because they don't have access to capital and strategic networks. This is not a pipeline problem. This is an access problem. And the solution is not another training program. The solution is prioritizing strategic networks like the Key Network that can help transition businesses from revenue to scale. Let me tell you about Rebecca Inonchong. Rebecca is a pioneering Cameroonian tech entrepreneur who founded Apps Tech in 1999. She didn't come from wealth. She didn't have a trust fund. She didn't have venture capitalists knocking down her door. What she had was a vision, a relentless work ethic, and a refusal to accept the narrative that she wasn't ready. Rebecca started coding when she was young in Cameroon. She moved to the United States for education, then made the bold decision to return to Africa to address the tech gaps she saw everywhere. She was navigating cultural expectations. She was navigating a male dominated industry. She was navigating funding deserts where women captured just 2 to 3% of global venture capital, despite having some of the highest entrepreneurship rates in the world. Rebecca didn't wait for rescue. She bootstrapped. She leveraged personal networks. She built relationships. She demanded respect, not charity. She focused on capital access, not training programs that would waste her time telling her what she already knew. And today, Apps Tech operates across more than 20 African countries. Rebecca is recognized as one of Africa's most influential tech leaders. She became a vocal critic of institutional biases, inspiring policy shifts, and changing the way investors think about African women entrepreneurs. Rebecca's story is not unique. It's the story of thousands of Black women entrepreneurs who are stuck in the sticky middle, generating revenue but unable to scale because the institutions that hold the capital refuse to see them as worthy of investment. And here's what Keena wants us to understand: overcoming the sticky middle requires us to stop waiting for permission and start demanding access. It requires us to join networks that are designed to open doors, I not just teach us how to knock louder, because we've been knocking. We've been knocking for decades, and the door is still locked. The second insight Keena shared is about self funding. More than 80% of Black women entrepreneurs bootstrap their businesses with personal savings. 80%. They receive less than 1% of venture capital. Let me say that again: less than 1%. Self funding is power. It means you own your vision, you control your destiny. You don't have to answer to investors who don't understand your market or your mission. But it's also limited because no matter how resourceful you are, no matter how many side hustles you juggle, no matter how many late nights you work, personal savings can only take you so far. In Canada, Black women entrepreneurs are rising. They're building businesses in beauty, tech, fashion, and beyond. They're creating jobs. They're serving their communities. They're expanding nationally. But over 80% of them are funding their ventures through personal savings, facing the same systemic funding gaps that mirror global trends. These women are using informal savings groups. They're leveraging strategic networking. They're applying frameworks like the Hidden 10 to access resources that institutions refuse to provide. And they're growing despite the odds, not because the system is supporting them. Think about that for a moment. These women are succeeding in spite of a system designed to exclude them. They're thriving while carrying the weight of institutional failure on their backs. And here's the truth Keena wants us to face: self funding is not a badge of honor we should have to wear, it's a symptom of institutional failure. Yes, we should celebrate the resilience of Black women who bootstrap their way to success. We should honor their creativity, their determination, their refusal to give up. But we should also demand better. We should demand that venture capitalists, banks, and investors diversify their portfolios and stop pretending that Black women are too risky to invest in. Because the data doesn't lie. Only 37% of African adult women have bank accounts compared to 48% of men. Women led startups get 2 to 3% of venture capital funding, and businesses stall in the access stage of the revenue to access to scale pipeline despite having market traction. This is not a story about women who aren't ready. This is a story about institutions that refuse to be ready for them. The third insight Keena shared is the most provocative. She said, demand capital over capacity building. Programs that waste funds on consultants ignore the data. African women drive entrepreneurship globally. They don't need more workshops on how to write a business plan. They don't need another seminar on pitching. They don't need to be told one more time how to be confident. They need equity in finance and networks. They need institutions to stop treating them like charity cases and start treating them like the economic powerhouses they are. Let me take you back in time for a moment. In South Africa, during the 1930s, Women proprietors in bespoke clothing sustained their businesses amid shifting markets and gender gaps. They were concentrated in low job growth sectors. They faced systemic inequalities that limited their ability to scale, but they adapted. They used community networks. They relied on rotating saving systems. They leaned into niche resilience to maintain viability. These women emerged in the pre apartheid era, navigating ethnic and cultural divides that would have broken lesser spirits. And they persisted. Their legacy informs modern studies on female entrepreneurship. They demonstrate what Keena is saying today. Black women have always had the business acumen. What they haven't had is the institutional support. And here's where this connects to the soft girl era, because for too long, we've been told that strength means grinding harder, that success means never resting, that softness is weakness, that if you're not hustling 24/7, you're not serious. But Keena's insights challenge that narrative. They tell us that the real strength is in demanding what we deserve. The real power is in setting boundaries, saying no to programs that waste our time, and saying yes to networks and capital that respect our worth. Softness is not about giving up. It's about refusing to carry a cape we were never meant to wear. It's about releasing the role of the superwoman who does it all, funds it all, improves it all, while the system sits back and watches. Softness is about protecting our peace as a practice and demanding that institutions do their part. So, what does this mean for you? If you're a Black woman entrepreneur stuck in the sticky middle, generating revenue but unable to scale, it's time to stop blaming yourself. It's not your business plan. It's not your pitch. It's not your confidence. It's the system. And the solution is not another training program. The solution is joining strategic networks like the Key Network that can give you access to the capital and connections you deserve. If you're self funding your business, celebrate your resilience, but don't stop there. Demand that investors see you as worthy of their capital. Diversify your funding through informal systems. Yes, but also hold institutions accountable for their failure to invest in Black women. Write letters, show up at investor meetings, make noise, make them uncomfortable, because your comfort has never been their priority. So why should theirs be yours? And if you're tired of being told you need more capacity building, say it out loud. Say, I don't need another workshop. I need capital. I need access. I need respect. Say it until they hear you. Say it until they can't ignore you anymore. Because here's the truth Keena Harrien is telling us. The key to scaling your business is not more training. It's demanding the capital and access you deserve. It's breaking through the sticky middle by refusing to accept the narrative that you're not ready. You are ready. The institutions are not. So I'm going to leave you with a challenge tonight. Stop waiting. Stop asking for permission. Stop shrinking yourself to fit into systems that were never built for you. Demand what you deserve. Join networks that will fight for you. Invest in relationships that will open doors. And when those doors don't open, kick them down. Apply to the Key Network today. Reach out to other Black women entrepreneurs who have navigated this path. Set boundaries with programs that waste your time and redirect that energy toward networks that will deliver results. Take one bold step this week, not next month, not when you feel ready, big, but now, because the world needs what you're building. Your community needs what you're building, and you deserve the capital, the access, and the respect to scale it. Keena Harrien is showing us the way. Let's follow her lead. Let's demand better. Let's build better. And let's do it without apology, without guilt, and without explanation. Your soft girl era is not about doing less, it's about demanding more from the systems that owe you and giving more grace to yourself. It's about stepping into the fullness of who you are, not who survival mode forced you to become. So go build, demand, scale, and never, ever let anyone tell you that you need more training when what you really need is their money, their networks, and their respect. Thank you.